Hello, everyone. This is Brian with Drinks and Discussions here with some breaking news. So, the New York Attorney General Letitia James has just filed a civil fraud lawsuit against Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka Trump, Alan Weisselberg, Jeffrey McConney, the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust organization, the Trump Organization, and other businesses associated with Trump, and they are seeking 250 million judgment and prohibit of any of the Trumps leading a company in the state of New York. The Attorney General is also making a criminal referral to the IRS Criminal Division and the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. This is big, folks. This is huge. This is a week that Donald Trump is getting worse and worse as the days go by. In case you didn't know, there are other probes that are happening in Trump's orbit as well, which we will get into here in a little bit. But this is huge, folks. And this is not because Donald Trump is a Republican. This is not because of Donald Trump saying that he lost the election or the election was stolen. This is completely independent of Trump, the ex-president, or Trump, the political figure. This has to do with Trump's business, the private citizen, Donald Trump, and all of the family members and organizations that surround him. What do you guys think about this? Before we go into the other stuff, what do you guys think about this breaking news? I think it's huge. I don't know what the ramifications are going to be, how long this is going to be drawn out. But I think it will have some type of political implications as to whether or not Donald Trump will, one, run for re-election, or two, be allowed to run for re-election. Only time will tell, but as you all know, the playbook from Donald J. Trump in this type of a thing is to delay and, string out this whole process in the judicial system as long as possible. And he's basically been relatively good at that, but also there have been a few things that, as of late, especially with the handling of classified documents, he may not be able to get away with that much longer. And let me share with you guys why. Let's get into some of the other things that are happening in the Trump orbit. So do you guys remember back in 2014, 2015, when Donald Trump was making his presidential run leading up to the 2016 election? And the issue came about the Hillary Clinton email server that she was accused of having and storing classified emails and sensitive information on this server. Do you guys recall all the things that he said and the lock her up chants and all the things that he was encouraging throughout his whole campaign? Because if you haven't and you don't remember, I'm going to show it to you right here.
This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualifying. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct, followed by a cover-up that included false statements and lies to Congress, the media, and the American people.
Now close your eyes for a second, folks, and just imagine someone saying that today, right now. You would think they were referring to Donald Trump. Everything he said in reference to Hillary Clinton mishandling classified or supposedly classified documents in her email server, he has or is doing right now. There is nothing different. Maybe some things that he's doing now is more egregious than what she did, because With an email server, you can kind of like go behind the scenes. You can find out who has access to it, where the documents went, if they were actually disseminated to other people or individuals. There's a lot of things you can do from the forensic level on a server, email server, that you can't do with hard copies. You can't tell if someone made a copy and gave it to someone else. You can't tell if someone who was visiting Donald Trump laid eyes or took photocopies of with their camera of these sensitive and top security level documents. You just don't know. But unfortunately, there's more.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. We also need the best protection of classified information. That is the worst situation. Hillary's private email scandal, which put our classified information in the reach of our enemies, disqualifies her from the presidency.
So there you have it, folks. That is what out of his own mouth, the things that he is actually doing and accused, maybe even justifiably so, Hillary Clinton for doing. He's basically saying that this is the behavior that he is engaging in should disqualify himself or any other person engaging in this type of behavior, should disqualify them from running for any political office. Now, at best, you could sit there and go, man, maybe that's what he felt before, and maybe he doesn't feel that way now because it's happening to him. The hypocrisy is right here for you all to see. You can't sit there and say one thing and then do the actual opposite. Now, you may not remember this also, but there is an ongoing investigation still that we haven't heard a whole lot about, with Jared and Ivanka using a private email server as well, when they were serving in the cabinet of the president. I don't know if all of the details have come out about that, if the investigation has concluded, but I do recall, which makes zero sense, and the excuse that Ivanka had made when this first came out was she was unaware. Now, being unaware just doesn't make sense because she was very active in the primary run up into the election for Donald J. Trump, the candidate. And the main points that Donald Trump ran on was the email server from Hillary Clinton. So you can't sit there and use "I didn't know" as the excuse or the defense for doing something that was talked about more than anything else throughout the 2016 presidential run. So it doesn't make any sense to me that she would use that as an excuse. But there's more that I want to show you guys too. So I still want to know what you guys are thinking. And are you believing your eyes here, or are you continuing to fall down that rabbit hole with some of the misinformation, disinformation, if you will, that is being propagated out there by some of the QAnon or MAGA Republicans, which, if you look at it on face value, has really it doesn't hold its own weight, and the truth, and it doesn't pass the truth or the smell test, or the truth smell test, if I can get that out. But there's more. So now we're at the point where there is a hearing that was granted to the former President Trump to have a special master preside over the handling of the ongoing investigation of his mishandling of the classified documents that were supposedly stored at Mar-a-Lago. Now, in case you don't recall, when this story first broke back in August during the FBI raid, there was a lot of talk about that these were just normal records. There was no classified information. There was no nuclear documents or documents related to nuclear secrets involved in these documents. And we had even some of the Trump family members getting on to some of the news shows saying that maybe there were just pictures of him and love notes and letters they wrote to him as a kid. So there was nothing to this. Now, also, if you don't remember, that there was some communication back and forth between the DOJ and the Trump organization, if you will, or Donald Trump, to retrieve some documents that they already knew he had. And that was back in January. And lawyers representing Trump specifically said that they had turned over everything that there was to turn over. There was nothing else left. So there's nothing to this, right? Somebody made it clear that that was not the case. Now, why this is important, and I want you guys to listen to this, why this is important is because now you have the court filings, and none of these court filings are actually saying, hey, Trump waved the magic wand and all these things that say classified are actually disclassified. Listen to this.
As the Department of Justice has pointed out, Aaron, there's no indication that Trump actually ever declassified these documents. And there's a lot of suggestions, in fact, including the markings, the lack of legal process. I worked on this when I was in the White House, that they're not declassified. The reason those lawyers have never said in a court filing that the documents were declassified is because they would be subject to penalties themselves, ethics penalties, penalties of the court, if they said something that isn't true. So the Judge Deary clearly is not having it.
So
Aaron.
Under penalty, if you say something that is not true in the court of law, you're considered to be committing perjury if you're the defendant or, testifying. If you are an attorney and you say something that is not true, there are other penalties. You can be disbarred. There are other ramifications that are involved, some of which I'm not really sure of. But the reason you have not seen the filing by the Trump attorney saying, hey, stop the presses. Here is the evidence that we, our former President Trump, declassified documents. And this is an important thing to understand and make note of, is because if they're not saying it in a court of law, why are they saying it in the media? Now, remember all those videos we played at the beginning of this video saying that, Hillary Clinton tried to mislead people in the media and all these other things? The exact same thing is what Donald Trump is doing right now. Pay attention, folks. Are you paying attention? Are you watching? Because one of the things I wanted to do also is, I don't know the process of declassification. Do you? Let's find out. Got something to show you.
67 documents marked as confidential, 92 marked secret, 25 marked top secret. These are what the FBI said were inside 15 boxes, retrieved by the National Archives in January from former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. They were handed over after lengthy efforts to secure Trump's presidential records. It triggered an FBI search of the Florida property in August, where the Justice Department says even more highly classified documents were found.
So you've gotten an idea of what happened in January and all of the types of classified documents that were found to be in the hands of the former President Donald Trump. This was something that was told by his attorneys was all there was to it. There should be no more documents in the possession of Donald Trump. This turned out to be not true, because this raid that happened in August would never have occurred. So let's continue listening, because there's a lot more.
The standards around classification and declassification are key to the federal investigation into Trump and his defense. Here's how that process works, including what authority the president has and doesn't have. The Constitution gives the president, as commander-in-chief, authority to decide what should be classified. And recent presidents have managed this by writing an executive order detailing the rules around the classification and declassification process. It's essentially been the same for decades. Bush really just updated Clinton's order, Obama just updated Bush's, and that's still the current procedure. Neither Trump nor Biden released new ones. The order gives the authority to decide what should be classified to people called original classifiers. They're folks like the Director of Intelligence and other higher-ups. The executive branch, which includes the military, employs more than 4 million people. Less than 1,500 of them have this important designation. They write out classification guides deciding what information should be classified and to what level. That guide would be distributed to other members of the agency, so they would know to label documents with the right classification and know whom they could and couldn't distribute it to. Confidential is the lowest classification level, information that could cause damage to national security. The next level is secret, then top secret. There's also additional classifications, like special access programs that only limited people can view.
So there's no waving the magic wand. There's no, I bless these documents over there, or I bless these documents over there as being declassified. Sorry, Hash Patel, you can't be an eyewitness to somebody verbally saying something is declassified. It's just not how it works. This is new to me. I didn't delve into how the process of declassifying documents until all of this stuff started happening. And I found this educational video to be very enlightening and educational. There's a lot of people were saying that, the president has the wide-ranging scope of declassifying documents. That might be true, but there's a process involved. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize that there were so many levels of classifications. I thought top secret was as high as you go. If it's top secret, that's kind of important. There's nothing higher than that. Top secret. But apparently there's more. And that was also new to me, watching the educational video there as well. So, again, if there's no process that was followed, is Trump playing mind games with us? Is he playing to his base and to purposely mislead people to feel sorry for him and make him feel as if he is some political pariah and people are attacking him only because of his political beliefs? If you're watching, if you're paying attention, folks, you're following the facts, you can't claim that. Out of his own words, Hillary Clinton tried to mislead you. And he was going to stand firm and make sure that classified documents were going to be handled correctly, and if they weren't, stiffest penalty under his watch. Now, this is all under his watch. What's going to happen next? I don't know. I can't tell you if this is going to turn out to be some type of a criminal arrest or criminal trial for Donald Trump. But I do know that Trump's week, even here on Wednesday, has got dramatically worse. We're going to keep following this stuff and other current events here in Drinks and Discussions. And if you like this type of video, please subscribe and give us a like. And I am Brian for Drinks and Discussions, and I will see you next time.